Hello and welcome to the Hume podcast from and Lowell. For those of you who don't know us, Hume is a recruitment training business co-founded by myself, Ed Khan, and Laura Hopes.
And each week we're going to be giving you 10-minute snippets into our world of recruitment, tips and tricks to help you on your journey as an agency recruiter, and hopefully some laughs along the way too. We hope you guys enjoy. This week's episode is around the transition from consultant or whatever role you're in to leadership.
I really like this subject because I genuinely wish I'd heard something like this from two people who'd gone through this stage and shared what they fucked up on.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know about you, but I really messed up in my first leadership role, and there's so much learning, and the things that I thought I needed from a skills perspective weren't actually the things that I needed. So I learned on the job, but it could have gone a lot smoother.
Definitely. So my biggest struggle, I think, was redefining where I added value to my team. And I think for the first few months, definitely, I was still in that, I was in this like almost identity crisis mode where I was like, okay, so I've been known as a high biller in my business. I've been promoted pretty much on, not just on that basis, but off the back of being being a successful recruiter. But now I have a team of 6 all of a sudden, and they need me, but I define my success, and everyone has defined my success as billing. And now I don't have enough time to I'm not even getting to my desk until like 4 p.m. each day. I'm still trying to run a desk that is that busy and that healthy. And where now and if I don't continue to do that stuff, will the team lose respect for me? Because they're like, well, Laura's moved into leadership, and now all of a sudden she doesn't bill as much, and she doesn't feel she has to do this, and she doesn't. And I was so conscious, and I think obviously like maybe having leaders in the past where I felt like they didn't pull their weight in a team fashion. I was so conscious of being like, I still want to add value. I still want to be seen as a high biller. That's what people aspire to. That's inspirational. And what happened was, 1, I burnt out, but 2, I was too busy for my team. And people I could start to see these habits of people being like, Laura, I'm so sorry to bother you. Like, I know you're really busy, but can I just ask a question? And I'm like, I'm not too busy for you. Like, you're my team member. Like, of course I want to help you. But I was like, this is a real problem if my team can't talk to me because I am so busy with billing as opposed to helping them bill. And I think that was probably one of my biggest learnings, my biggest mistakes in those first few months, because I created a culture where I was too busy for my team. And
they can't lean on you then, because experience teaches them that you're too busy, and they don't want to put more on your plate when they know you're just going a million miles.
I couldn't lead them, so they couldn't ask for my advice on things. They felt like they were bothering me. They maybe didn't open up to me as much as they could have. I wasn't running as much training with them. And actually, your desk should drop. And if you are sat on this and you're like, oh, but I still have the same billing target, you need to speak to your leader about that, because your job is now to get your team billing more than you. That's your job. If there's any business owner, leader looking at those types of structures, please, for the love of God, make it team focused.
Make it team focused, or at least heavily weighted towards team focused with a personal contribution target. But my God, the amount of agencies that I see that promote people to lead roles and what they're targeted to do is relatively the same as what they were doing as a solo performer. I'm like, it's pointless. I made similar mistakes to that, but in different ways. My biggest mistake was that I went into that. I was sounds really big-headed, but I was really liked in the office. Very well liked. Everyone wanted to hang out with me. I was the one uplifting everyone. And then I got promoted into this team lead role, and my want to be liked continued, and I thought my value in the team was actually to be their friend and to be really liked. And so I continued doing my own desk for the same reasons. But I also then, instead of helping them get better, I just took their work on. So, but I'm really struggling with this.
I'll
do it because that's what I think. I'm your manager, so I'll do it, and I'll take that away from you. But then it was stupid because I was still billing the same amount as I was. I was thinking I was helping the team by just taking on all the struggles that they had and going, oh, don't worry, I'll do it. Because one, there was the weirdness of really wanting to be liked. It was really bizarre.
People pleasing mode, isn't it? It's like, no, I can do, like, this is where I can add value to you now.
And the fear of them turning around after a few months, and I think that's what was driving this weird people pleaser thing, was, fuck, I don't think that I should have been promoted into this role, a bit of self-doubt, and I just don't want the team turning around to the business leader and going, as a shit, we don't like him. So I was like, okay, if I keep the people happy and just do all of the things that let's face it, they just didn't want to do them. They could do them, but they didn't want to do them, and they knew I'd take it on, so they did. But then it was just, I had this humongous workload, and I was starting to get really resentful of the team. I was like, they're not pulling their weight. I'm like, on reflection now, I'm like, well, you weren't actually helping them. You're just taking a short-term view on it of going, cool, I'll just take that problem. And what I was teaching them was, if there's something that you're struggling with, just chuck it to Ez because he'll do it. Rather than workshop it with Ez, he'll give us the answers and we'll be able to deal with this in future.
And what you do, it's so funny, isn't it? Because you think you're helping, but actually you're stripping people of their ability to self-soothe and their ability to grow their own skill set. And as leaders, like, delegation is so important in that sense, because we often are in a mindset when we delegate of, I am passing on my work to this other person, whereas actually it's like, no, I'm empowering this person to be able to learn new skills. And it's really a mindset shift that, when you're taking on stuff for other people, you're actually disabling them, developing their skills further, helping them manage their time, getting them focused on higher, on the right activities that they should be focused on, so that you can spend time doing activities that are going to actually support them. And I think so many people do that because it's that shift from being able to go to the pub with people and, have a bit of a gossip, talk about bad days, and you don't get to be that person anymore. And they won't confide in you in the same way anymore because they also want to impress you. And it doesn't come from a bad place, but there is a natural shift of where you sit within the business. And that is hard for a lot of leaders, and especially a lot of new leaders, because you're at the same age often as the people you're managing. And these are the people that you'd be down the pub with on a Thursday or Friday night, potentially throwing shade at, some business decision or whatever, whereas you have to have a degree of separation from that. And I think a lot of leaders, compensate for that by being like over nice and trying to take people's work to show that they're still one of the team.
You know what it is? Ultimately, so I can't remember who said this to me, but it was one of my clients. And it was essentially your job as a leader. You've done it well. If when someone leaves you, their parting feeling is, fuck, Ez helps me get better. I'm so much better as a result of working for Ez and underneath Ez. I've learnt so much, I've actually gotten better at my craft, or actually just gotten better as a person. Now I've got the ability to be more emotionally aware, whatever it might be, as long as you're adding value to that person, either in skill for the job or just as a person, you've done your job well. And that should be the sort of, that's the thing that drives me there when if someone's working, it's that, and it's not to be liked. I think you can still obviously be liked, but have boundaries and have clear boundaries of what the expectations are and being clear with them. Not sort of faffing around with, I want them to do this, but I don't want them to worry them, whatever it might be. Those tough conversations can be had with a lot of empathy and clarity. I think that's important. Yeah,
I agree. And I think what we have to remember as leaders, and I've definitely got this wrong in the past, is that your team are a mirror. It's like they say with kids, Like
So
your kids
true.
are such a mirror to your own habits, behaviours, whatever, which is why it can be a really confronting journey. And it's the same with the team. And I was coaching a leader a few months ago, and they were like, I'm facing a real issue with none of the team will take breaks. Like no one will take any break. People are constantly burnt out. People are constantly talking about how hard they're working. And like, whilst I really appreciate and respect that, like I'm really scared that my team are going to burn out and I cannot get anyone to take a break. And my first question was, well, when was the last time that you demonstrated a healthy relationship with breaks in front of your team? When was the last time you took a lunch break? And they were like, oh, I don't because I'm too busy. And I'm like, so do you think your team are going to look at your behaviour and go, it is safe for me to take a lunch break? They will be like, this person, my leader, doesn't take a lunch break. They're always looking really busy. Therefore, that's what I should be mirroring.
Yeah.
And so you have to really live the behaviours that you want to see. You can't talk them and say to the team, hey, this is what you guys can do. This is what I expect from you, if you're not living them yourselves. And that goes for healthy habits too. And if you're constantly like, no, you guys take your break. I really want you guys to take your break, but you never do. Your team are never going to feel comfortable taking the break.
100%.
Ever.
That's such a good point. I love that one.
So you have to think, I am a mirror. Any behaviours that I'm seeing, have I consciously or unconsciously contributed to creating these?
The other one, and my last one, I mean, I feel like we could talk about
how many mistakes we've made. Terrible
but
leaders.
It goes back to vulnerability for me. I think as a leader, you will make so many mistakes. Daily, you will make them, and we still do. But having the humility and the vulnerability to go, team, I've completely fucked up here. I'm so sorry. I introduced that thing. It hasn't worked. I thought it would. These were the reasons why. This is what I'm going to do next. And these are the reasons why. Putting your hands up rather than trying to go, oh, I'm the leader and everything should have been done right. It hasn't worked, so I'm just going to try and brush it under the carpet. It's a really bad way to lead.
Yeah.
And I think just being very open, transparent and vulnerable to then also encourage others that it's okay to make mistakes as long as you own up to them and you actually talk about them and show a level of vulnerability, because if you don't, you'll end up making the same mistakes again.
Yeah, you do not have to be bulletproof in your leadership. Like, people will buy into you more when they understand that you've got their back and your intentions are good, and occasionally you'll get things wrong. Like, and I think again, like when you're first in leadership, you wear this front of like, fake it till you make it, you know, like, because you do, like, there's fear around it, so you almost kind of come off like have to be the perfect leader, whereas actually people buy into you more when they can see that you're on a journey and a path as well.
And your role is very different. I think that was the last one.
Yeah.
Like, you are not expected to do the same role. I think that was a really big realisation for me after a little while.
You shouldn't be expected to do the same role. And if you are, then, because I think a lot of people, it's like, cool, well, you're still a billing manager, so we still expect the same level of billings from you, but you shouldn't. Your time should be better measured with how much time are you spending training, coaching your team, trying to find new members of your team, delegating to your team, you know, developing their skills, running team meetings, creating structure, processes. Like, having a billing element to your role is sometimes a necessity as an agency, and there's a reason why it's a role in recruitment agencies, but it shouldn't be. Your time should not be measured by how much money you're making. It's how you're getting your team to usurp you in your billings so that your team are the profit, not you.
Yeah, there's more value in your team of 5 billing an extra 100k each than you billing 500k.
Yeah, 100%.
There's more value in that.
Yeah.
Than you sitting there plugging away trying to bill it all.
And you'll never be able to grow it if you don't step away from that.
Last one, and I promise I'll shut up after
We're way
this.
over.
Last one though, it's you're not expected to do everything. You're not expected to be amazing at organising people. You're not expected to know everything and be the font of knowledge for everything. You're there to lead people and bring them on a journey and get them to where they need to go. That's your job as a leader. It's not to be super smart on finances and how they should structure their time, how they should do this, how they should do this. That's not your job. but it is your job to help them in other areas and bring those expertise in if you don't have them. But don't fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Lean on other subject matter
Lucy reached out to me and was like, I need help with organising my day or time management. I'd be like, don't talk to me about it, Luce. I'm great at BD and I'm great at marketing, but I'm not your man, sorry.
Yeah, she called
Go
me.
to Laura.
She's like, how do I do this on LinkedIn? You are calling the wrong owner. That's straight to Ed. But yeah, I think it's knowing what's within your wheelhouse and utilising other skills and people in the business to also support you, I think.
Oh, I love this episode.
I could talk about this forever and ever and ever. But yeah.
Hopefully you guys found it useful. Good luck on your leadership journeys if it's your first stop.
Yeah, and if for some reason they're never going to listen to us again.
Yeah, that's true. Please listen to us again.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.